The Beyond the Ropes podcast is proud to support the Kyan Prince Foundation. Go to www.thekpf.com to donate or support the foundation on their mission of bringing people together to end violence. Founder Dr. Mark Prince's best-selling book, The Prince of Peace, is available on Amazon and other major retailers.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat your children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Ropes. Myself, Michael Prime, joined today, David White. Sean Mansfield's not here, neither is Dwight Best, and a very special guest, Mr. Curtis Felix Jr.
Yo, what's going on?
Thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to talk somewhat about your career today. You've got a big fight coming up on the 30th of November as well, but we'll give you a couple of minutes to relax and we'll discuss some some far-ranging topics in boxing, not toppings.
Yeah.
No, some topics in boxing. Let you get chilled out and acclimatised with us now.
Cool.
It has been a quiet week. There wasn't an awful lot on last week. Nothing to really whet the appetite. So I'm kind of looking forward to the fights that are coming up now. Big one this weekend that seems to be going a little bit under the radar. Very low key for some reason. The Wilder Ortiz fight. It's bizarre. I don't seem. Maybe it's because we're on this side of the pond, but I don't seem to be seeing a lot of like ads for it or anything.
It's the little snippets you get from Sky, and that's it.
Is it on Sky?
I don't know.
I don't know who's showing
I
it.
genuinely don't know, but like considering it's a heavyweight title fight, and it was a decent enough one for the first one, that they've had a rematch. I would have thought they'd been trying to build up some.
I think, it's just, I think we're on the wrong side of the pond to be getting all the advertisement. Because, you know, in America, they do sports big.
Massive.
So I can't imagine that it's not getting coverage over there. But saying that, everybody's saying, wow, they don't really sell out, so...
Well, he's as much as he's got the persona and everyone, like, as a heavyweight boxer should, you know, the lifestyle and everything, he's not well liked. And like people, like I know over here, they want to see the big fights over here.
Yeah.
But over there, he wasn't selling out his hometown. You know what I mean? And as a heavyweight boxer, like AJ can sell out all over England.
Sell out all over the world.
He sold out New York, didn't he?
Yeah, he's doing New York. He's doing Dubai, wherever he's. So if you've got that, that's what I'm expecting from a heavyweight champion. Wilder, if you can't do that in your own town. Like it was a college, he had like two defences, and it was one for Spiltzker was in his own college, like stadium.
There was 2 heavyweight titles on that fight as well, on that card. That was when wasn't it Charles Martin as well was on that?
Oh wow, that's Laverne. Is that where he
No,
won?
when
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Was it Laverne he fought? No, it was. Who was the guy that hurt his knee?
Oh yeah,
Gaskov or something like that. But yeah, there were 2 heavyweight world title fights that night, and it wasn't a sellout. So it was a really strange situation where the belts were changing hands and people didn't really seem to be paying attention.
Or cared.
I think he says things he probably shouldn't say.
He does that a lot.
He says things that probably rub people up the wrong way.
But do you think that's because he wants to build? Like, you know, they say no, there's no bad press. Like all press is good press. Do you think that? Like, could you see yourself playing the bad guy to get more?
I wouldn't.
Nah,
I'm not.
Not even if you got to world title level and it was like, do you know what? To get more people interested, I'm going to be the bad guy tonight.
I just like to be myself.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
like
do that. I wouldn't.
Fair enough.
I think that's what it is with Wilder as well. He comes across as really disingenuous. Like I don't think he is a bad guy.
No,
but I think he wants people to think that he is.
It's sort of forced, isn't it? If it, like, who was it when? They just couldn't be the bad guy. everyone says AJ's got this side to him that, you know, ooh, you don't want to unleash that side of him. It's, you know, he'll go back to when he was being a naughty boy in Watford. But at the same time, you kind of look at him now and you think, has he really got that sort of naughty side? Like, he's very commercialised, he's very PR related, you know.
The impression I get from AJ is, yeah, if he has to, he's going to turn that way.
He's going to have to.
But
turn
I don't
that way.
think he's that way.
No, you don't. I couldn't see him starting off being a bad guy from the outset. Like the Ruiz rematch. In all honesty, you should be thinking he's got not like this guy. Like, he took your belts, he took your champion, he took your O, whatever you want to say about that. He didn't turn up, whatever. You got to have some sort of anger towards this fella, because at the same time he sort of embarrassed you.
Yeah.
So, but there's none. Like, I don't even think I could think of one incident in the build up to this new one, this next fight in December, where I'm thinking, yeah, he is on it. Like, he's not happy that he lost.
I think he's smart though, because you don't want to let emotions get into it. You don't want to let your emotions, you know, control you. And I think he's smart. I think he's got people around him that are going to be telling him, you know, you just got to let that go, kind of thing. So
wipe it and
I think that's probably why it seems like he's not angry. Probably is angry, but he's got it under control. I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I think, though. Could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's it, because there's so much money involved now. All of these guys, you're never going to really know where the kind of character starts and where the real person kind of ends with all of them, because they're all going to give you across an image that they want you to see. Now, the one that makes the money. Yeah. Like Wilder, I've got, like I said, when he's talking about he wants to get a body on his record and things like that, like you said, they're the things that are, I mean, as a boxer, when you hear things like that, what does that, how do you react to hearing things like that? It's
actually embarrassing, especially if you're not a boxer and you hear him say that, because then if you don't watch boxing and you hear a boxer say that, you're going to tie everybody with that breath.
Yeah.
I just think, you know, you should represent yourself, represent your sport a bit better than that. Yeah. You can't be saying that.
No. Especially
when, you know, there's been a lot of deaths in boxing lately, so it seems like there has been. So it's just the wrong thing to say, man.
That's it.
There's no place for that.
Yeah. The thing is, if he'd have gone on and okay, he didn't. Let's touch wood. Touch wood. He hadn't gone and done it, but like, can you imagine if he'd actually gone out and done that on like, his career? I don't know.
Well,
I'd like to think his career would be over because.
Well, it should be. I think it was Bellew that said if he did kill somebody, then surely isn't that like attempted murder?
Yeah, because if you've said it and then you
said it and then you've done it.
Yeah, it's premeditated. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but it's on the line, isn't it?
At the same time, like when you get in the ring, you know the consequences.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Yeah, but it's just a silly thing to say.
But hype, media, people talk about it. You know, he plays the bad guy there, and let's say he adds another 10,000 views to that fight, maybe.
I personally, as I said, I think it's all a big, I don't want to say act, but you look at like the Floyd Mayweather effect, where if you can actively goad people into disliking you, it's shown that translates into pay-per-view buys.
Because they want to see you fail.
I bought pretty much every Floyd Mayweather one, thinking this is the guy that's going to knock him out.
Yeah,
I really want this to happen, and every time I was disappointed.
Yeah.
And now I look back and I can just got nothing but appreciation for what he did. But at the time, I just wanted every single person to knock him out. Yeah. And I feel like Wilder is possibly trying to build towards that sort of mentality. You know, it's like a them and us. But whoever they are, they'll still buy the fight to see what happens.
They'll still want to see me.
Well, the thing is, they ain't buying the fight, so it ain't working.
Yeah,
well, that's it. That's why he tries to crank it up a little bit more
each time.
But
it's a really strange one with Wilder as well, because if you look at him on the surface, he should have everything there. I mean, he's obviously a big personality. He's got a knockout record. He's got a celebrity wife who's on TV all the time. It's like he's got that whole kind of
the package.
That's I hate the term, but like that David Beckham sort of package from back in the day, where
yeah.
he was famous, his wife was famous. He's at the top of his career.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to land whatever he does, and he must be quite resentful to the other people around him, like the Tyson Furies and Anthony Joshua's.
Well, it's mad that like you think like they're the ones that people want to get in the ring with because they know they're the cash cow.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to get them the most money. Whereas you've got this guy who everyone, you know, we've said it, countless other people have said it, is that he just, you know, he's not that good. You know, he's just a hitter. But at the end of the day, he's undefeated. He's got God knows how many knockouts.
I think he's all right. I mean, boxing wise, he's not there. But if you can knock somebody out in round 12, you still got the power to blast a man down in round 12. You can't say anything.
No,
he gets the job done. That's
well,
what it comes down to. Yeah.
It. Like, we can say he's rubbish. He's not this. He's not that. But look at his record and who's a world champion, and he's still undefeated. And going into this fight, when they first fought, I was heading towards Ortiz only because of what other people said. Because I hadn't seen him. I hadn't seen enough of him, and I just thought he's going to box his head off. Okay, he was very close. He came very close, and in my eyes, I thought he should have finished him in 7th or 8th round, and he survived. But now, what's that? It's 2 years on.
Yeah.
He's too. He hasn't been active enough for me, and I can't see anything he's going to do differently.
Wilder comes back when he's had a few rematches, hasn't he? And I think when he comes back in the rematches,
he knows what to do the second time.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Verne, for example, he was just finished.
Just obliterated him, didn't he?
Destroyed him, yeah. It's almost like I've been in with you. I know what your game plan is. I know this won't hurt. Right. I knew what hurt you last time. This is what I'm gonna go straight for. And to be honest, it worked. So I can't see anything more than another knockout for Wilder on Saturday.
That's what I think.
What are your thoughts on Ortiz, like generally speaking? Because at one point he was billed as being possibly the top heavyweight, but I don't know if that was kind of when he was signed to Matchroom, we were kind of being force-fed a bit of propaganda.
I think that was me. I think I got sold because, like I literally just said, I hadn't seen enough about him. Yet for some reason I thought he was going to beat Wilder because of what other people had said and the clips I'd seen, like what he did to Dave Allen. Like looking back at it, you think he should have finished Dave Allen. Like if he was that good, he'd have destroyed Dave Allen.
The Malik Scott fight was unbearable.
That was just horrible. So now you're kind of thinking, what's the rematch worth? Like really? That's probably the reason. After seeing his last couple of fights, it's probably the reason it's going under the radar.
And apparently ticket sales for this are doing horrifically, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I could see. It's like you wouldn't go and watch Dave Allen, Dave Price 2, would you? Do you know what I mean? You know the outcome's going to be the same. It's
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I hadn't really thought of it like that. Because you would essentially be paying your money to turn up and see someone get sparked up probably quite quickly.
Yeah. I don't think there's much to say about it, really. Like,
I think it's going the same way, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to put you on the spot, right?
Go on.
How old is Luis Ortiz?
What is he, 38, 39, something like that?
So I had a look today just to double check. I'm pretty sure that his Wikipedia and his box rec changes all the time.
Yeah.
Because apparently he's exactly 40 now.
He's 40 now.
But I'm sure that his last fight they said he was 36.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the picture like, you ain't 36, man. Yeah. Like,
no, you don't look 36.
You know when you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, you're not 2 years older than me.
You're
No,
1 year older than me.
I'm not having that.
That's a tough paper round.
It was. I mean, I get it. Cuba might have been a 50
Extremely
paper
tough
round,
paper
but it
rounds,
wasn't that
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
But so 40 years old now. I mean, it's no doubt he's a good boxer. He obviously had.
Yeah.
He was my favourite at one point. To be fair, he was my favourite heavyweight boxer. I like the way he boxes. Southpaw. He's a good purist. Is that the right word? He's like a good.
He's just a solid.
He's got that solid
solid
Cuban style.
Exactly.
You know, that
Yeah,
amateur
yeah.
style. Like
Yeah.
if I have to go through every round and just win every round, I'll do that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can do that. Yeah.
But he can blast people out as well, which is
Mm.
as a heavyweight you should be able to do anyway. But
Yeah.
I honestly feel. I mean, I don't know if anyone will ever know how old he really is, but I feel like we were 10 years too late for Ortiz.
Yeah,
Possibly. Yeah.
yeah.
Because there was
I think
a time as well
2
where
years ago was probably 2 or 3 years too late for him. Genuinely, like
Yeah.
I don't, like we said, we don't know about his age and everything, but he didn't look fantastic. Considering this is probably your biggest fight of your whole career, you want to come in like, I know heavyweights are different. Like you can be podgy, Andy Ruiz. You don't have to be like the AJ mould, but he's not necessarily a big lad in that sort of sense that he's flabby or anything. He's quite a
he just
bit of a
looks
tank, really.
Solid, to be honest.
Yeah, but he just didn't look like he'd done the rounds and like put in the effort for me, and it showed. Later rounds, he was done, and he got finished.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that's for me probably why it's not selling very well. Because I think people already know the outcome, which you don't necessarily mind doing if it's a boxer you really like. Like people paid hundreds of pounds to go and see Anthony Joshua in his earlier days when he knew he was going to knock someone out very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine because you know that's the aim of your night to go and see that. But I think if you're not a huge Wilder fan or you're not a huge Ortiz fan, there's not really much call for you to be parting with your money to do that.
You kind of only going to see Wilder knock him out. It's sort of AJ-esque, where you want to see Wilder win. You don't really want to watch Ortiz jab and box for 12 rounds. Although he has got the power to knock out Wilder, he obviously showed he's got power, but you just can't see it happening. Like, I don't think Wilder's going to let him get close enough to do that. I think because he's felt his power, he knows he can get hurt by him, but he also knows he can keep him well out of range. And it's just that one big right hand that's just connects, and it's game over for anyone, really, isn't it?
I have a question for you as well, kind of on the back of this. So I was listening to Chris Mannix podcast this week, and he had a guy on from PBC, and he asked him a quite difficult question when he says to him, why do you not talk about Terence Crawford and the WBO title when you are like discussing your fighters and when you're talking about Errol Spence and whatnot? And the guy said they don't recognise the WBO, so they won't talk about Terence Crawford, which I found really interesting anyway, but that's nonsense. They're just being petty. They don't want to talk about Crawford. But they were floating, well, it wasn't floating, they said they're going to bring in a PBC belt. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, as a boxer, is it the more, you want to have quality titles, but the more titles the better, or do you just want to get it back to very, very few titles?
Few titles is better, man. It's too many titles. Everybody's got silver and it's just too many. It's too many international and all that. You don't need all that. How can there be that many champions?
I agree.
Maybe a few different organisations. You get the opportunity then to unify. But yeah, it's too many, in my opinion.
It feels like you just get a belt now for and achieving a ranking within these governing bodies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who it was. I can't remember.
Maybe last week, last 2 weeks ago, jogging on the.
Don't get me wrong.
Belt.
I would fight for one of these belts.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I ain't trying to disrespect, but yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, but it's the things that come with those belts, isn't it? So it's like I was going to say. I can't remember whose gym it was, but there was a picture that Conor Benn shared once, and it had all of him and his stablemates. There was about 8 or 9 guys, and they all had a WBC or a WBA belt, and it was either a silver continental or intercontinental, and I was like,
what?
It looks great as a picture, but I was like, but when you get to the end of your career, if you haven't achieved the peaks that you wanted to, you're going to look back at that picture, and what are you going to feel about that?
Yeah.
I mean, me as on the outside, see, I'm not a fighter, but I can imagine what you say. Like, if someone gives you the opportunity to fight for it, so you want to take it, you want to do it. From the outside, as a fan, you look at it and you just think, I'm not really sure about these belts.
My whole thing on it is, I was always, me growing up and watching boxing, it was always area, English, British, European, Commonwealth, European. Then you're in world. You know, it was boom, 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 done. Now it seems to be, you could have silver European, you could have silver European WBO, silver European WBC, international, intercontinental,
silver as well.
I'm guessing when you plan out and you think, right, okay, this is the route I'm going to go, and it's almost like divisions. So you got WBC, WBO, WBA. do you have to go a certain way for this title, which will bring you to this, to this, to this, or is it a case of European, bosh, I can go from European to this organisation, or this organisation? It's one of them ones I've never really kind of got, but I always presumed that they had their own individual ones. Do you know what I mean? So that's the one I want to know. Is there a certain route you go through that you go silver? I need to have this belt to challenge for this.
I think, yeah. I mean, if you're fighting certain people, certain rankings in whichever direction you want to go, then obviously you would follow that path. If you wanted to go for the WBO, I imagine you would fight somebody who's highly ranked in the WBO. I don't really know too much about the politics, but I imagine you would sit down with your manager and discuss, you know, which options are the best. That's what I've done with Goodwin. I've sat down and we've discussed. You know, he's told me what he thinks we should do, and we've moved on that. So yeah. I imagine it's the same for the bigger belts. You would discuss, right, I want to go for this title. Right, that means you need to fight this guy, and then hopefully we can get you in with this guy, and go from there.
So it's at this point when you need to have a very good manager who's got experience in what they're doing, really.
It helps. It helps to have a manager who knows how to work it, yeah. And I think Steve does that quite well, to be fair, with his fighters. Well,
you only got to look at his stable. He's got more than a handful of pretty much every belt there is going at the moment.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which moves us on nicely to you. So you are challenging for the English title yourself.
Yep.
On the 30th of November.
Yep.
You're 10-0 now. For people that haven't really, if they may not have come across you very much yet, how would you kind of describe yourself as a fighter?
I would describe myself as a box fighter. Like to box. Like to fight a bit too much. Like to move a lot. Yeah. I don't know, it's hard to describe myself. Because I think I'm one way, someone might think I'm something else. But I like to just express myself, have fun. So I wouldn't say I'm slick. But I have elements of slickness.
Yeah. I'm
not fully fledged boxer, but I have elements where I have times where I can box. If I need to, I can have a tear up.
Yeah, tear up. I mean, before we have anyone in, I have a quick check on like YouTube and whatnot. I would go through their fights, and it's always a good sign when you look at the titles of the fights and it says war, carnage. You're like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this one. This is decent. York Hall, obviously returning back there again. It's one of my favourite venues. You get the right crowd, you get the right fight in there. There is not really many better places.
It's a good spot
to see.
It is a good spot.
So I mean, see, we're not looking ahead of that fight. So, how was your kind of not your camp, but your kind of preparation to this point? How have you got to in 10 fights got to this stage already? Because it's quite a lofty place to be challenging for an English title at 10 fights.
I've just been winning, and I think Steve's seen something in the wins that I've had, and that's why I'm in the position I am. I think on my 6th fight or my 7th fight, I've done a 10-rounder against Justin Menzie, and after that, Steve got in the ring for me and he says, "Yeah, you're ready for titles." So I think from there, he's kind of tried to get me then. Yeah, tried to get some titles.
So it must be at that point trying to maybe hold you back a little bit, because if you're at that point after 5 or 6 fights, it must be difficult to keep you grounded. You must want to really push on a lot very quickly.
I don't want to move too fast.
Yeah.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, because I know there's still loads I need to learn. There's still a lot that I need to go through. But at the same time, I'm 30, and it'd be good to start making ground over the next couple of years. So I'm not 24, 24 anymore. So it's not like I've got another 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think I sat down in Steve's office and he said, "Yeah, start trying to knock on some of these doors, really." So that's what it is. That's where we're at.
So as a 30-year-old man, all being well, everything in your career going as you would want it to, at what point do you want to not be fighting? I don't want to jump ahead of just this fight. Let's just go straight to the end.
Yeah.
I don't want to go past 35. I don't want to go past 35. It's hard. It's hard. It's a hard life. I've been boxing forever, so I've never not had boxing on my mind. It would be good to just not have it on my brain, but we'll see. 35. I've given myself a limit of 35, which is another 5 years. So yeah.
If you weren't boxing, what would you have been doing?
People always say this, like, people always say, yeah, I would have been in prison or whatever, but I would have probably been doing something silly. Probably would have grown out of it, but yeah, boxing's kept me on the straight and narrow. So, you know, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I know when I finish boxing, I want to be a cook, chef, own a restaurant or something like that. But,
Nice.
Yeah, growing up, I weren't doing anything. I've never had a proper job. I have, but for a short amount of time. Like 3 months, 4 or 5 months, whatever. So, yeah, who knows? I don't know. I don't know.
It's interesting because a lot of like the guys we get in, a lot of them do say, "Oh, I'll probably be in trouble," you know, this and that, and you kind of think, is that just like the go-to question? Is that the go-to answer?
Cliche answer.
Yeah, like, is it?
I don't
really?
want to sound cliche.
How many boxers are gonna get in trouble? But no.
But this is the thing, you forget when I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's just you. Like when boxers start boxing, they are at a very young age more often than not, like early teens sort of. Like, and that's when we, as young men, we all do stupid stuff.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Everybody. So it could be quite easy just to continue doing stupid stuff, especially if you don't have a focus on anything else. Which,
Exactly.
if you didn't have boxing, a lot of guys would be going, like you said, you just don't know what you go on to do without that laser focus on what you need to be doing.
Yeah, true.
So how long have you been boxing?
A long time.
just a long time. That's it.
I used to do kickboxing. My dad used to make me go kickboxing, and then I started boxing about 14 or 15. So I've been boxing long. It's always been a focus.
Yeah.
It's always been something for me to go back to. And that's why I say if I wasn't boxing, I wouldn't have never had something to always go back to. But I've been boxing a while. I thought it was going to be easier than kickboxing. I thought, I ain't got to stretch my legs. Nah, I've got to stretch.
You see quite a lot of kickboxers that convert over to boxing. And I've always wondered, like, do you ever, when you were first starting, did you ever have the urge? I wanted to ask people this question before, to just kick somebody. When you're standing there your first spar, your hands are up, and someone comes to you, do you just want to just fly one kick into their shin or something?
I've done it probably once or twice.
Yeah. When someone hits you a bit too hard.
Exactly that.
Calm down.
Just a quick clap and you're like, sorry, force of habit. I didn't mean that.
Muscle memory.
Okay, so I mean, your opponent, Eko Usman.
Yeah.
Do you know much about him?
I know what I need to know.
I like that.
That's it. That's a quality answer.
That's it. Yeah.
Let's not get too much in. I know what I need to know.
I don't think he listens. Don't worry. Because it's one of those ones where you always wonder. Because when we speak to guys, we always ask the questions like, do you watch like tapes of people? Do you watch people on YouTube? Do you find out as much as you can, or do you leave it to your coach and your team around you to kind of do that and give you the advice?
I leave it to Barry, my coach. I leave him to do the research and come up with a game plan. I've watched probably 4 or 5 minutes in total of Eko Usman box. I don't like to watch too much and get into a thought process of how I think he's gonna box.
Yeah.
I watch just so I can see his body mechanics, see how he's stepping and moving, and I'll just go from there with Barry's plan, really.
I can imagine if you start doing that, you kind of going down a rabbit hole. You'd see little bits, and then you'd watch more, and then, like you said, you start basing everything on something you've seen that may have been a year ago, a year and a half ago, or something like that. And
my last fight against Conor Vian, that's probably the most I've watched of a fighter. And when I got in there, everything I thought he was going to do, he didn't do.
Yeah.
We stepped to the game plan, but everything everything I thought he was going to come forward and be a lot more active. He didn't do none of it. He didn't really engage as much as I thought he was going to. So yeah, that's the only time I've really watched a lot of somebody, and I haven't really done it this camp, to be honest.
That last fight, when I was reading up on it today, and it says that he got, was it quite a bad cut on his eye?
I think he got cut, yeah.
As a fighter, is that the sort of thing that can, I mean, it sounds like a very simple question, but does that really impact how you would fight as the person that has inflicted the cut? Obviously, as a person that gets the cut, it would change how you start boxing.
Oh yeah, definitely, because you'd be worried about it. But as
the person that's fighting,
yeah, if you're looking at your opponent, he's bruised. Yeah, you feel good.
It's a target. You just
target. And like psychologically, it makes you, gives you a bit of confidence, a bit of boost. Look what I can do. So yeah, it's good.
See, these sort of things are the ones that, as fans, because you can only have the fans' mentality of watching a fight. When you see someone get cut, you think, oh, it's a cut, it's really bad. But as a fighter, I always wonder how you feel when you're in there and you see you've done it. What that, like you said, what that kind of, if it gives you a boost, if it changes your game plan completely, how it impacts a fight. Because I can imagine it just changes everything.
Yeah, because we was it Ricky we were speaking to?
Ricky Evans, he cuts all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. He gets
so
quite
we
bad
say
cuts.
like, when you get cut, how does it change you? And he sort of kind of went, I have to be more wary of it, but I've gotten used to it now.
Yeah.
The first time he got cut, he was like properly, like I was thinking, should I just turn my head completely and stuff like that. Whereas we actually didn't ask any. Like, that's probably the first time I've actually asked a boxer what happens when you've actually hurt, like actually given the cut. Because in my head I'm thinking, well, surely I'd just pummel that point to where he's thinking someone's got to stop this because it's getting worse. Or does it make you think, right, I've hurt that side of the head, I'm going to go for this side now? Like,
it was a point of attack. I went back to the corner. Barry's like, he's cut, try and catch him on that side. But then you don't want to get too carried away with trying to catch him on that side and
becoming too predictable as well.
Exactly, predictable and taking a shot yourself. You don't want to do that. So stick to the game plan, but it's always a thought.
It's a
getting close. You think, let me double hook it.
Yeah.
Again, these are the points when it's about having the good people around you. So obviously Barry's a top quality coach who's looked after some top level fighters. So you've got a great man with a great deal of knowledge here as well.
Yeah, he's good. I trust what he says. He's a good cornerman. He's nice and relaxed. He's good. I listen to everything he says. It usually works.
How long have you been with Barry?
Yeah, so my whole career, 3 years. Just over 3 years. Taking me from a good fighter to an even better fighter. He's a good trainer.
You've got some excellent people in the gym around you, obviously, to work with and to learn off.
Good people. Donovan Mortlock, Dana Zaxo, John O'Donnell, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good gym. There's been people that pass through. Jamani Camaro, he's been there since the beginning. Yeah, it's a good mix.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Barry and all the boys down at State of Mind. They've always been really good to us as well, which is really nice.
Very nice.
Got my brother in there as well, Dominic Felix. I forgot to mention it.
I'm sure that I was at a card. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where you both fought on it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we fought on the same show before. That was there was one my last fight against Conor Vian, he fought on that. And then, I think that's it actually in London.
I'm trying to think when it was. It might have been this year then. But yeah, I'm definitely sure, because I remember I was there with Rob Brennan. Yeah, I'm sure of it. Oh well. I'm sure it'll come back to me at some point.
Memory's gone.
I'm sure it'll come back to me at some point.
Rob will message out. Yeah, I listened to the podcast. It was this one.
Can I ask you another question as well? Because this is one that divides the opinion on our pod.
Go on.
What are your thoughts on Chris Eubank Jr.? And this is relevant because he's returning to the ring soon.
Okay.
What, his boxing?
Yeah, not outside of the ring. We're being professional.
Just
today.
yeah, okay. I just wanted to be specific. Yeah, I think he's good. He's good, and the reason I'm going to say he's good is because he's a professional. He's very good at what he does. In terms of boxing, he's probably not the best boxer in the world, but I can't really, You can't knock him. I don't think you can knock him.
What weight would you put him in?
He's quite small.
This is where I start smiling because Mike thinks he can take on the world.
No. Let's be realistic.
He done a number on James DeGale though, so.
But
that was like my Christmas.
He was buzzing with that one.
I used to love James DeGale, but I don't know. It's so big. Like these guys, they rinse me all the time. I don't know why. You know, just as a boxing fan, you have some fighters that you just you like, and I don't know. I don't know why, because he's not. There's nothing to justify how much I like him as a boxer. There is nothing. But I wear it with pride now. But yeah, that fight I thought was amazing. But yeah, I like that. Yeah, he's good.
Do you not like him?
So my thing is, I think he got. There was a reason he got to a certain level, and then came back 3 levels and fought Blackthorn. When he was on the cusp of fighting Jacobs, I was like, how's he got, like, he's only had so many fights, how is he getting this title fight? Then he dropped back and then spent another year fighting
British level,
but above his level, below his level. So he was, for me, he was, I don't know, it just annoyed me that if you're at the cusp, like if let's say you get to that point where you're the next person to fight the title for the title, why would you drop back down to British level? Say you're gonna win it outright and not win it outright, and then move up. And
I think
fight.
probably
his
team around him probably just they had to probably rein him in.
Yeah, but then I thought, okay, fair enough. He got the world title with for the life of me, I can't remember the name.
Reynolds
Quinlan. And everyone hammered him because it was the IABO.
Thoughts on the IBO?
It's alright.
I love these diplomatic answers.
It's alright. I won't say no to it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pursue it. Wouldn't be your first port of call in the rankings or
I'd pursue it, but it's not the best one, is it?
No. But it'll get you. It's a step on the ladder, which for me Eubank did, which I think he should have done without having dropped down from Jacobs.
Yeah.
But for me, I think when he stepped up, he's been beaten by better boxers: Billy Joe Saunders, George Groves.
That's it though. 2 top quality.
So now they're top quality.
Listen, you can never knock.
We have this argument. Right?
You can never knock George Groves. Like I was never his biggest fan coming up because I was always more on the DeGale side of it. But when someone retires, obviously you can look back and you can really assess their career. He did so well.
Yeah. But for me,
I've got so much time for George Groves now. I really, really like how his career went.
He doesn't like Eubank Jr. doesn't dominate at super middle for me. He just can't.
I agree with you, and I think that's just down to size again.
I think Cam Smith just dominates that.
How Callum Smith even gets into super middle, I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
I saw a picture of him and Usyk together, and he was bigger than Usyk. You look at it and you think, and this guy's fighting heavyweight.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
And at middleweight, he's not a big middleweight. Do you know what I mean? I think Jacobs beats him. I think
middleweight's probably the most.
He's more suited to.
Yeah,
for me, he's not elite level. He's good, and he gives everyone a good fight, but he's not elite level. That would be my bugbear with Eubank Jr.
I think he's up there, but I don't like Jacobs. He ain't going to beat Jacobs, and he's not going to beat people like that.
He's not going to beat Golovkin. I don't think.
Timing is everything now, though.
He won't get close to Canelo.
It's one of them Charlo bros is middle. One of them is, isn't they?
Yeah, and I think that's the viewpoint. He's fighting
Harrison. No,
Matvey Korobov on the 7th of December. And then I think the Charlo brother is kind of the aim for that.
Be a good fight. I think Chris Eubank Jr. gets in good fights, and I think he goes in against anyone, it'll be a good fight.
And that's because he's a good professional. He's in good nick.
He's always in good shape.
He's in good nick.
I just don't see him. I don't see him beating any of the elite guys, and that would probably be my thing. Is have we hyped him up too much because he's been a world champion? Have we hyped him up too much when it actually comes down to it? Not that he's not that good. He's just not that step up, that level. You know, where the world title boys are.
Yeah.
He's always going to be there. That's my big thing. Not that I don't like him. I just think I'm not 100% sure if it's a hype thing or he's just.
I think he's good. I think he deserves a bit of credit. Like we were saying about Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders is very good, excellent boxer, and it was a close fight. That and George Groves. George Groves is very good. Probably one of the best in the world. So it's not like he's losing to rubbish people.
Yeah. No. And that's it. Like that he beats most of the others
up to a level. Yeah.
Pretty much up to a certain level, and then it's just that. You know, we used to say about Dillian White. Like,
well, to be
you
fair,
had AJ, Fury, Wilder, and below that you had Dillian White. You had
at them
Ortiz.
times, that's maybe what the thinking was a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Now I have no idea where Dillian White is.
Now, yeah, it's like it's just the levels. I think he'll always be a good fighter. Just that next step, I don't think he'll ever make.
Do you not remember when we used to say that about George Groves though? When he'd had 3 world title fights and he hadn't picked up.
Yeah, no, and we genuinely did think
that maybe he couldn't make that step.
He's going to be the one that doesn't make it. Like he probably deserves it because he's been in these great fights, and at the time he was the best of Britain. Let's say he's better. For me, he's always been better than DeGale. Cam Smith went off the radar for two years. Let's say.
Yeah.
Just done nothing. I don't know. Like he was boom, 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 and then all of a sudden
he had a mandatory shot like lined up, and he just waited for it and waited for it.
Nothing. Yeah.
And waited. But it paid off for him.
2 year wait was
worked.
Brilliant, but yeah. So out of the bunch, for me, Groves was probably the best, and then it was like a passing of the torch within 2 fights. It was like, wow, he's gone. But
I think some of the big fights took it out of him, man.
Yeah, and that's what I thought about DeGale. I used to love DeGale, thinking
too many wars though for DeGale, man. Every fight was just an outright war. He just looked like he'd been battered every time.
It was
even
like,
when he hadn't, he just always looked like he'd
even
been
if a game that he'd bossed, he'd come out and he'd look 10 times worse than the geezer he's just beaten. And you're like, yeah, I don't know if you should take that many. You should defend with your face anymore.
Tell me this then, right? Because obviously when you're fighting, you get hit. I have no doubt that it hurts. Obviously, your adrenaline kind of carries you through a lot of that sort of stuff, though. You know, when you wake up the next morning,
pain. Man.
Is that what it is? It sounds like such a stupid question. You wake up, you open your eyes, and is it just like, fucking hell?
Sometimes I'm in pain, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Because I had a conversation like that in other sports. Concussion is becoming more and more involved.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was saying, well, "What the fuck are they going to do with boxing?" Because you cannot tell me they don't. Yeah, you cannot tell me they don't get concussed during a fight.
Well, that's the aim of the game. Essentially.
And what are they supposed to do? Like, I know they have got protocols. Like, I'm guessing, like we know, like if you get knocked out, there's a massive amount of time before you can fight again, and cuts and stuff like that. But there's nothing during the fight that they can turn around and go, "Oh, you're concussed. You can't fight anymore."
I guess it's just one of those risks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad though, isn't it?
It's mad.
Like,
it is mad. Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're in a sport that you have to punch to the head, and you win if you get the other geezer concussed.
Yeah.
Put it that way. But in other sports, that's a major no-no, and they're pulling people out for weeks because of it, and they won't be able to play or. Well, yeah, a lot of it's playing sport, like playing football, playing NFL and stuff like that. We were just trying to like boxing's boxing. You can't do that. You can't tell them they can't punch. Like that's the aim of the game. Like head collisions in NFL, they have a helmet. That's how they get concussed. Like boxing's boxing. They're gonna get concussed. This is what happens. It's mad. But yeah, I don't know how that just spiraled onto a thought process I had.
Yeah, it was quite obvious.
Mm.
You felt like you had that one sitting in the locker ready for ages.
It was a pre-conversation I'd had, and then all of a sudden we started talking about stuff, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this." But beauty of podcast, you can just chat.